Today, we are breaking down a really powerful playbook for building a modern AI-powered business. We're going to distill a pretty complex strategy into a series of super actionable sprints that you can actually use to go from just an idea to a truly scalable company. So let's just get right into it. This is the big question, right? It's on every founder's mind. How can a small, maybe even a one-person team build something absolutely massive in the age of AI? Well, the answer isn't just about having a great idea anymore. It's about having a killer process. And this is the core concept that makes it all possible. It's called the AI Augmented SaaS Flywheel. Think of it like this. It's a model that starts with a tiny specific problem and then systematically builds this huge execution platform around it. It works by weaving together organic growth, really smart automation, and a new way of pricing into one powerful system that just keeps building on itself. To get there, we're going to break this whole thing down into 3 focused sprints. First, how to find the money hiding inside a niche. Second, how to create organic buzz so people come to you. Third, how to build a real, defensible moat so you can't be copied. And then we'll wrap it all up with a 90-day action plan you can literally start today. Okay, let's kick off with Sprint 1, find the money. Now, this is not about raising a bunch of venture capital. Nope, this is about proving your idea has real, tangible financial value from day one. It's about de-risking the whole thing before you even think about building the product. So the key here is to follow these 5 steps, and you have to do them in order. You start by finding a small, totally underserved sub-niche. Then, you basically become an expert in their world by mapping out their entire workflow. From there, you figure out exactly where money changes hands. You find the boring, repetitive stuff, and then, this is the magic, you put a hard dollar value on that pain. And this right here, this table perfectly shows why those first steps are so crucial. On the left, you see what you've got to nail down, every single handoff, every little invoice. And on the right, those are the typical pitfalls where people go wrong, like missing those hidden compliance steps or totally ignoring indirect revenue, like the time your customer saves that they can now use for more billable work. Getting this right is the foundation for everything else. Now, this formula, this is the secret sauce for financial validation. It looks simple, but it is so powerful. And here's the key insight from the source material. You are not using average salaries here. You absolutely must use the real billable rates of freelancers or consultants in that niche. That's how you calculate the true cost of the pain you're solving. Let's make this real. Imagine you save a professional, someone who bills out at $150 an hour, just 30 minutes of their time. You've just created $75 of pure value for them. This shows that you can charge just 10% of that, $7.50, and it is an absolute no-brainer for them. They get a 10x return on their money, and you get a scalable, super high-margin business from one simple task. All right, on to Sprint 2. Once you know your idea is financially sound, you need to attract the right people. This sprint is all about creating that organic buzz, building an audience of people who are dying for your solution, all without dropping a ton of cash on ads. You know, the psychology here is just brilliant. You are not selling a product yet. You're selling the problem. You're creating content that perfectly mirrors the exact frustrations of your niche audience. And when they see their daily struggle perfectly described, they feel seen, they feel understood, and bam, they share it. That is how you build your first tribe of true believers. But, and this is a huge but, here is a massive pitfall to avoid. You have to balance 2 different types of content. On one side, you've got your viral angles, stuff that's designed to be shared to build your audience. On the other side, you need conversion angles, content that flat out says, hey, we can automate this pain for you. You absolutely need both to build an audience and turn them into paying customers. Okay, now for the final, most strategic sprint, building your moat. This is how you go from being a simple little tool to an indispensable platform. And there are 2 critical actions that create that long-term defensibility and make it incredibly hard for anyone to compete with you. The very first action is to orchestrate everything. You don't just automate one little task, you aim to own the entire workflow, from the very beginning to the very end. You want to become the central command center, that single pane of glass your customer uses to manage an entire business process. That is how you become sticky. So how do you actually do this? Well, you start by chaining automated steps together, maybe using low-code tools like NN or Temporal to connect different services. Then you design AI agents that can complete a full task, not just offer a suggestion. You have to add production-grade reliability with things like retries and verification, until eventually you've built a full workflow where one agent's work feeds directly into the next. And the second action, which is arguably the most powerful one of all, is to lock in the data. Your service has to get smarter, more personalized every single time it's used. The goal is to make the cost of leaving, the cost of losing all of that history and intelligence, just way too high for your customer to even consider. So what does that actually look like? Well, you do things like storing all their historical performance data. You let them create custom rules that only exist inside your system. You use something called a vector store. Think of it as long-term memory for your AI, so it can recall past interactions. What you're doing is letting the user's data compound in value over time, but only inside your platform. So, we've covered the 3 big sprints. Now, let's pull it all together into a tangible 90-day action plan. This is designed to get you from zero to your first $50,000 in annual recurring revenue. And this is why that first sprint is so incredibly important. Just look at this potential trajectory. Hitting that first 50K in 9 months, that puts you on a path where, because of the compounding effects of your pricing and your data lock-in, you could be looking at $1 million in recurring revenue in 2 years, and maybe $10 million just a year after that. And here is your roadmap. Weeks 1 and 2, all in on niche validation. Weeks 3 and 4, create that problem-focused content. Then, for a solid month, you actually do the work manually for your first few customers. I know, it sounds crazy, but that's how you collect the data you need to build the automation. Then finally, by week 9, you're ready to launch a beta and actually start charging. And as you start generating cash, this is how you pour fuel on that flywheel. The playbook suggests reinvesting 30% right back into paid acquisition to scale what's working, and another 30% into R&D to build new agents and make your moat even deeper. This is how you accelerate your growth the smart way. So there you have it. We've walked through the entire playbook, from finding the money to creating the buzz to building an unshakable moat. You have the step-by-step guide. The only question left is, what workflow are you going to choose to own?